Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This has been an awful week for Israel, and so by extension for all of us. And it went from bad to worse as the remains of the Bibas family came back. You know, we have an inclination to relate to tragedies when we personalize them. And this family had become the face of the tragedy. And I know that people even here, including, for example, Deb, were praying every day that the reality would be different. And then, you know, to see the way the adversary handed over the bodies, and then to get word that the children, it was confirmed, but the mother not. It's just playing with the emotions, and for so many Israelis and us revisiting the traumas of October 7th. So the Cantor and I were discussing this, and we wanted to orient the service to be one of uplift and acknowledging the deep sadness in Israel. There's anger, as there should be. There's disbelief, as there should be, but such a deep grief, collective grief and sadness as well. So several of the pieces we chose this evening will reflect that situation, even as more hostages, alive and dead, will continue to return home to Israel. Cantor will begin with a setting to Nachamu, the great words of comfort from the prophet Isaiah. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami. Comfort, oh, take comfort, my people.
Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami yomar Elohechem. 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 Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami yomar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Ami yomar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami yomar
A beautiful way to begin in memory of the Bibas family, Shiri, Ariel, and Kafir. Can't imagine what the father who has survived and all that family is going through. Shiri's parents were also murdered on October 7th. The entire family of 3 generations wiped out. We will offer a song in tribute to Shiri in particular a little later in the service. We continue now with the blessing of the Shabbat candles. On page 3, as these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light together. O source of light and truth, law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak
into our hearts and
in
our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'echad likneh shel Shabbat.
Another song of comfort and of peace, shalom, is Shalom Aleichem, a song of greeting of the Sabbath, on page 24.
This is a rendition by an Israeli group, Nava Tehillah. And I believe we've done this, so you might know it. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
For our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 28, please rise.
Lai, lai, Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection, and there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nevarech, let us bless. Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael. נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Let's join together in the Shema and the V'ahavta, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
את אדוני אלוהיך
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The Micha Mocha prayer on page 40 is usually sung to a very upbeat melody because it celebrates freedom from slavery to freedom, but I think the Cantor will offer a little bit different interpretation this evening.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכות אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, קהל ישראל.
A few weeks ago at our Martin Luther King weekend service, we quoted Dr. King that darkness cannot overcome darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot overcome hate, only love can do that. On page 43, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ba'al Yerushalayim. The people of Israel, page 44, shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time, an alternative melody to Vishamru. For the Tefillah Amidah prayer, page 46, please rise.
Adonai, Sefatai, Tiftach, Ufi Agir, Fi Agir, Fi Agir, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai, Tiftach, Ufi Agir, Ufi Agir, Ufi Agir, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai, Tiftach, Ufi Agir, Ufi Agir, Ufi Agir, Tehilatecha, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, לקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, עזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציל אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממיט ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל
HaKadosh. Please be seated. On page 57, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael, utfilatam ba'ahava tikabel. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha v'yirah na'avod. Words of peace, the Shalom Rav, on page 60.
We'll do the Steinberg Shalom Rav that we do on the high holidays. I believe that this week is his yard site. And I'm also remembering my Cantor, my childhood Cantor, who did this so beautifully, Cantor Norman Summers of blessed memory. I'm going to do this a little bit lower.
Now at the end of the Amidah, our thoughts turn to all those in need of healing, be this a healing of body or healing of soul. You know, every week that we begin this prayer by thinking about the hostages, we're thinking about the prayers of well-being and just staying alive for those still sitting in deplorable captivity. But we're also thinking about their families who endlessly agonize. And now we think about all the healing, even for the hostages who have come back home, for their recovery and for the recuperation of their bodies and souls and that of their families as well. And healing for those families who are retrieving the bodies of their dead family members. So there's so many levels of healing for the hostages and for their families. And now as I come around, if you would like to name individuals in your circle of family and friends, please do so.
Jonathan Schwartz, Ellen Pollock, Victoria Kramer, Joe Bullock.
מי שברך אבותינו ואמותינו הוא ישלח במהרה רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, ונאמר אמן.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה אמותינו, may the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
As we pause for a moment of our silent prayer, we look at this week's Torah portion as it shifts from story, narrative, to mitzvot, laws, commandments. And there's so many that begin this portion, but there's a refrain that repeats itself 3 times in this Torah portion and 36 times in the totality of the Torah portion. So it's something overarching and deeply important that the Torah wants us to remember. And it's the commandment not to oppress the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. One of the rare commandments where the motivation is given and it's personal, collectively personal. And let's remember that the word ger, translated here as stranger, in biblical Hebrew, it also means migrant or immigrant or resident alien. It covers those categories of people who are in Israel but are not Israelite for whatever reason, in light of what I'll be speaking about a little bit later. But the Torah is saying, from your personal experience, the experience of your people, don't forget that these people should be treated with the basic human dignity because they're human beings and they've experienced what you experienced. We pause.
This is a song for the hostages that we've done before, so please sing along. sisters, Achotenu, Achenu, our brothers, Achenu, Achotenu, our sisters, Achotenu. Wherever you are, whatever we must do, we are always, always there with you. We are with you, our brothers, Achenu. We are with you, our sisters, Achotenu. Amakom Shechina Mekor Rachamim Rachemna Rachamina Alechem Vehotziem Mitzara Lirvacha Me'afela Leora Mishehabot Ligeula Vehotziem Ligeula, our brothers, Achenu, Ligeula, our sisters, Achotenu. From the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, make everything alright. From the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, make everything alright. From the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, from the darkness to the light, make everything alright. We are with you.
The so-called immigration czar, the person who's been put in charge of ICE and all efforts on immigration, said something that's been haunting me, although it basically escaped the news cycle. He was asked in an interview, well, what happens when migrants who are here legally or who have not committed any crimes get swept up in these roundups? You know, what about them? And he said anybody here illegally can be considered a criminal. He said they're breaking the law. They can be considered a criminal. Tonight, what I'd like to do is one thing and one thing only, and that's simply, excuse me, bring to you the statement of the Reform movement from 2 weeks ago. Reform movement leaders support immigrants and refugees. It's a page long in small print, but I think it's important to know what our movement is saying and to ponder its content. For decades, the Reform movement has advocated for immigration policies that are compassionate and just, reflecting the United States' status as a nation founded and strengthened by immigrants. Reminds me of that line from the play Hamilton. Immigrants, we get the job done, if you remember. And as a nation of laws with borders that must be secure, we now speak strongly against the policies and executive orders issued by President Trump that demonize immigrants, seek to end birthright citizenship, target immigrants for mass deportation, make synagogues newly vulnerable to immigration enforcement actions, and cut off vital funding for essential refugee settlement work. Like most Americans, Jewish Americans are an immigrant community. Today, more than a century after the largest waves of Jewish immigration to the United States, we recall that anti-immigration legislation passed in the 1920s discriminatorily limited legal immigration from Eastern Europe. Reformed Jewish congregations have long been engaged in the holy work of welcoming and resettling immigrants and refugees, Jews escaping anti-Semitism, Vietnamese and Cuban people freeing oppressive regimes, refuseniks from the former Soviet Union, and many more. Today, our communities are diligently involved in resettlement of refugees whose lives are endangered by their having served with United States Armed Forces in Afghanistan, and others fleeing war-torn nations such as Syria and the Ukraine. Reform communities along the southern border are deeply engaged in relief work with those who have recently arrived in the United States. Some Reform communities have declared themselves to be sanctuaries for those facing deportation, and we are deeply opposed to the rescission of the policy that protected houses of worship from immigration enforcement actions. Did you know that that was one of the executive orders of the last few weeks? That, quote, sensitive places like houses of worship are no longer exempt from ICE raids. I would also like to tell you, it's not in this statement, but this past week, the Reform movement joined a host of religious communities in filing a lawsuit against the administration for the change of this policy, which goes against decades, if not centuries old policy that sanctuaries are sanctuaries. And the statement concludes, the demonization of immigrants as criminals must stop. Mass roundups of immigrants or those perceived to be immigrants and deportation without due process must halt. Funding for refugee resettlement agencies must be restored. Efforts to eliminate the constitutional guarantees of birthright citizenship must cease. Houses of worship must again be able to fulfill their prophetic mandate without fear of ICE raids. Asylum seekers must be allowed the right to plead their cause. Migrants who were previously approved to enter the U.S. must have that approval reinstated. And it is time for Congress and the administration to work together to achieve immigration reform that upholds our status as a nation of immigrants, meets the needs of businesses and employers, and ensures the nation's security and future well-being. The last sentence, Reformed communities and their leaders should continue this work, inspired by our Jewish history, by biblical teachings, and the Constitution's commitment to the free exercise of religion. And it is signed by every constituent organization within the Reform movement. You shall not oppress the stranger, the migrant, the illegal alien, for you were that in Egypt. Shabbat Shalom. Before our conclusion, the Cantor is going to offer a song, particularly in memory of Shiri, the mother whose body we know not where it is, but her soul has captivated this nation of Israel and us. Her name means song, and there's a famous song in Israel that begins Shir l'Shalom. It's actually in the book, in the song section, so you can follow along with these words, Shir l'Shalom, on page 354. And do you know that this is the song that Yitzhak Rabin was singing at that rally in Tel Aviv the night that he was assassinated? So it's a very poignant song in so many ways for Israelis. You know that he had told the rally organization, I'm not a singer, I don't know the words to the song. So they gave him a copy of the words, which was in his pocket, that he took out, sang the song, and then as soon as he stepped off the podium, was assassinated. Shir l'Shalom, you see the words here. Let the sun rise, the morning dawn, for peace.
So we'll just do the first verse.
תשירו שיר שלום, הלכתיך שרו תפילה, מוטב תשירו שיר שלום, יתך גדולה.
For the Aleinu, the bottom of page 282, as we open the ark, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו. ידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we now call to mind and love and reverence the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Rudy Schwartz, husband of Barbara Schwartz, my father, and Mosek Laser Rosenzweig, father of Betty Rosenzweig. For all those close to our hearts and for all those for whom there may be no one to say Kaddish, we join in the Kaddish prayer on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, be'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'hayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'ala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam olamei almai. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamai, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. I invite Marshall forward.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for such a beautiful service and just helping us deal with such a difficult time and the beautiful music to go with it. Just a few announcements. We do have Torah study tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We also have the school, religious school, coming back on Sunday after a nice 2-week off with President's Day weekend and the snow day. On the second Monday of March, we'll have book club. This month's book is All Who Go Do Not Return. And I would like to thank Barbara Schwartz for sponsoring tonight's Onay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It does feel like an appropriate Shabbat to sing Hatikvah, which we've been doing approximately once a month in solidarity with Israel. So the words are on page 374 for Hatikvah, which is a national anthem and an anthem of the Jewish people. We ask you to rise.
Kol od balevav penima, nefesh Yehudi homiya, ulefatem mizrach kadima, ein lezion Sophia. עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, לחיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים. לחיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.